Hi guys, it's the Viking here with another movie review. I finally got around to watching Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Now, for years on social media I've had to listen to people say that Batman Mask of the Phantasm is the best, the greatest Batman story, whether that be comic, live action, stuff like that. Very high praise, especially in a world where the Dark Knight exists and movies like Batman Returns and Batman vs Superman exist. That's a very high praise of the thing to say about a Batman story. So I finally sat down and watched. And look, there's loads of animated TV shows and movies that I've never got the chance to watch because growing up I wasn't really watching DC shows in animation form. I was watching other things, So now I'm finally getting around to seeing all these animated greats that I've missed over the years. And if you like what I have to say about this video, I might do more reports, more reviews about animated DC content. But Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Kevin Conroy voices the Dark Knight once again, and look, he probably is the ultimate Batman in terms of voice and the way he perceives himself as the character. Mark Hamill shows up as the Joker as well, and a very, an extended cameo, but a pretty good cameo as well. So basically this story is about this new criminal that's killing mob bosses. Batman is getting blamed for these killings because this new villain looks very much, sounds a bit like Batman as well, and in the shadows it probably would look like Batman to the average person. It's not Batman, of course, because in this world Batman does not kill. Now this film is actually very, very interesting, and I was not expecting it to be a dark psychological look at the Dark Knight and what he goes through from losing his parents with now trying to be a Batman and then trying to have a normal life on the side as well. It's very interesting, and it delves deep into the psychological battle that he has as Batman. We see little elements of that in the Dark Knight trilogy. We see it a lot in Batman vs Superman, but I was not expecting to see this in an animated film that's basically for children, and I really like it. All of the characters in this film are worked very well, and they're tied into the story very well. There's no character that I could say it's about this character, because Batman has a lot of screen time, but the Joker has implications on the story as well. This new character, the Phantasm, has huge implications on the story as well. Alfred has his moments with Batman, and it all in all is a very interesting and fast flowing plot. The film is only 72 minutes long, so it goes by very quickly because there isn't an ultimate amount of filler in this story. It goes by and it tells the story that it wants to tell. Now, it goes and it has flashbacks as well to a younger Bruce Wayne who is falling in love with Andrea Beaumont, and he is pleading to his parents at their graveside. I know I said that I would protect Gotham. I know I said I would fight criminals because of what happened to you, but I never thought I would be this happy. I never thought I would fall in love. I thought what happened to you would mean the rest of my life would be a misery, and then I would dedicate that to fighting criminals and making Gotham a safe place. But he falls in love with this woman, Andrea, and this is a huge battle he goes through because he has the guilt of making this promise to his parents, but also making this promise to this girl that he loves, that he wants to marry and spend the rest of his life with her. So he has this big internal struggle of what actually to do. He begs to his parents who are dead, please let me go of this promise. Let me live my life. I never thought I would be this happy, and I thought that was very, very interesting. Now, it's telling a story in the now with the Phantasm killing mobsters, and then also with the flashbacks looking back at him trying to give up being this kind of Batman character and this kind of promise that he made to his parents, and then dealing with the love, and then also the loss of the love that he had with Andrea just out of nowhere leaving him, which then pushes him to more becoming the Batman. And it puts him in this sadness, and there's many times in this film where you feel bad for Bruce Wayne, you feel bad for Batman, because he is actually very depressed. He's very sad. He doesn't have much going on in his life. All he really has is fighting criminals and making Gotham a safer place. But years later, Andrea comes back to Gotham City, and those old feelings starting to come up again. He starts falling for her again, and then he contemplating giving up the Dark Knight suit and just living a happy, loving life with Andrea. But as the story progresses, the Joker comes into it and plays a very big part in the overall story. Andrea, years ago, Her father owed a lot of money to mobsters. He didn't pay it back straight away. That's the reason that they fled. That's the reason she left. She told Bruce that she didn't want to be with him. She needed time to herself. But in the real aspect of it, her father owed a lot of money and they had to flee from gangsters. But the gangsters always find you no matter where you are. And they did find Andrea and her father and they killed her father but left her alive. Then she returns to Gotham. And at the exact same time that this Phantasm shows up. But as the story progresses, we find out that Andrea was actually the Mask and the Phantasm, Mask of the Phantasm. Even though the character is never called the Phantasm or Mask or anything like that, people kind of refer to it as Batman because they think it is Batman, but Batman is being falsely accused of these crimes. What way did the Joker come into this overall story? Well, the Joker in his pre-life of being the Joker was a mobster, and he's one of the reasons that Andrea's father was killed. Then he became the Joker, so he tied in very nicely to the story. The movie is 72 minutes long and it flows by very quickly, giving each character a lot of character development. I really like the element between Bruce Wayne and Alfred. They have a lot of moments together, a lot of loving moments, but also a little bit of banter, like we've seen Batman vs Superman and stuff like that. And it's done pretty well, you know, and I like that aspect. I like the psychological aspect that Bruce Wayne has to go through. I like that they invented a new villain. Every Batman story that we see, oh, the Joker's in this one, or Black Mask is in this one, or, you know, Killer Croc. But I like how they invented a new criminal for this story, because me sitting down to watch this, I had never seen this Phantasm before. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know who was under the mask. As the story progressed, I kind of guessed that it was Andrea, but at the start, I'm like, I don't have a clue about anything about this character. It looks a bit like Batman. That's why people would probably falsely accuse Batman of being this character. But I like how they invented a new character. The score throughout this entire film is beautiful. Probably the best Batman score I've ever listened to. The opening Batman theme, just perfect. Really, really well done. The animation style is pretty good as well, you know, it's nothing bad. I've seen loads of animated movies where the animation style isn't that good, it's not very engaging, but here I had no problem with it whatsoever. It didn't affect my my watching of the story. The action when it's done is done pretty well, you know. There's even a scene where the Gotham police are chasing down Batman, and Batman actually looks like he's about to get caught. He gets a blow to the head, he's bleeding, he's dizzy, he's probably a bit unconscious, and a concussion, and it looks like he's about to be caught, and then he throws his suit down, they think it's him, and they go after the suit, but he gets away with Andrea. But for a second there, you don't really see that in Batman films, where Batman is ultimately struggling, and you feel like that he's about to lose this, and you get to see it from his point of view, blood, because he is a man, you know. We don't see that enough in Batman films, of Bruce Wayne bleeding when he's out and fighting criminals, because he is a man as well, you know. He bleeds just like a man, and we don't really get to see that in Batman stories, but I liked in this one, they showed us that. That was pretty cool. Mark Hamill as a Joker, as always, is absolutely brilliant, you know. Heath Ledger is the best live-action Joker of all time. Mark Hamill is the animated, the voice of the Joker when you think about the Joker. He ties in lovely with this story, and he's very funny in this film. His one-liners are brilliant. His interaction with Batman, his interaction with Harvey, his interaction with Andrea, very, very well done. And there's even a scene where Andrea is kind of choking him, and he's reaching for a weapon, and there's baloney, and then there's a knife. And what does the Joker pick? He picks the baloney and smacks her across the face twice. Little funny moments like that. It's not completely in your face, but like they don't push it to that extent where you're like, oh, that's supposed to be funny. It's just like a throwaway moment that you kind of will laugh to yourself, and I like that as well. The ending is pretty heartbreaking as well, you know. Batman realizes that Andrea is this phantasm, and he can't really love a criminal, can he? You know, he just tells her to go away from him, because Batman's rules are no killing and fighting injustice and getting rid of the criminals in Gotham by doing it the right way. But she kills, you know. He can't love a woman who kills. He can't have kids with a woman who kills, when his rule is basically not killing. And there's a beautiful line in this. Batman had asked, do you want to be alone? And Batman goes, I am. Very heartbreaking, very brutal. And I did not expect, as I said, for this film to delve deep into the psychological battle of Bruce Wayne with becoming with Batman, and also not wanting to be Batman because he wants to have a happy life. He wants to have a family, and even Alfred says that to him as well. I'm sure your parents would have wanted you to be happy. You know, so if this was a live action film and they did it in this way, I think it would be perfect. It really would. I think it hit everything on the head. It really did, and I can see where the praise for this film really comes from. When people say it is the best Batman story of all time, I probably can't disagree with you that much. You know, The Dark Knight for me is the best Batman film. Batman vs Superman after and Batman Returns. But this is pretty well done. And if I would like to see a live action film remake of this, maybe change a few things, make it a little bit longer. But would you even have to make it longer? 72 minutes, and they were able to get the character development perfect. They were able to get the character interaction. They were able to get the story. Everything about this film is really, really well done. Maybe a remastered version of the animation style, but again, the animation style isn't even bad. It's not. It doesn't take you out of the story whatsoever. It's probably better than most animated stuff that you see nowadays, and probably it would work today in the way that it's done. A sequel to this would be pretty cool. It would. You know, why not? Follow this same Batman, bring in the Joker. I know we've seen Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill in so many incarnations of the characters and so many stories, but Batman Mask of the Phantasm for me was a pretty enjoyable animated film, not too long, got to the point very quickly, and some nice twists and turns that some I was expecting, and others, especially with the Joker, I was not expecting. But the psychological battle was a big aspect of this film that I really, really enjoyed. Guys, have you seen Batman Mask of the Phantasm? Have you enjoyed it? Was I sleeping on this film for too long? Should I have seen it sooner? Well, I'm catching up on all the DC animated shows and movies. And if you like this review, I'll do more on this channel about all those content too. Guys, let me know. Give a like, comment, subscribe. Come follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Movies That Matter, The Viking. And we'll interact. We'll talk about the one thing we love, which is movies. Until next time, guys. Batman, Faster Than Phantasm. I wasn't expecting it, but it was pretty good.